Hey, what's up guys? We're back again with a new meta Sparky deck that is crushing the top of ladder. The ranked 277 player in the world only uses this deck. And despite looking obscure, this surprising Sparky deck has a ridiculously strong synergy. After you identify your opponent's deck and card cycle, it's easy to drop a Royal Giant at the river, remove all of their defenses with your spells, and get the Royal Giant on the tower to dominate the game. This unique Sparky deck has some of the most solid defenses in the game with Inferno Tower and Sparky. Every tank deck ends up miserable and melted. It's time to power up the toxicity of our electricity and assert dominance. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on any of the daily videos. Lots of love to everyone that's supporting the channel with creator code SirTag. So this guy is not cycling anything at the start. I really thought his name was going to be Mordekaiser. I was like, yo, League of Legends, you're going to unleash toxicity. But to be real, Mordekaiser really looks like the Skeleton King. I feel like Clash Royale played some League of Legends and then we're like, bro, here's our new champion. Probably what happened, legitimately. We're going to cycle Zap on the tower because Log is a bit better on defense. It fully counters Goblin Barrel, so I'd rather save that. Now, because our opponent isn't cycling anything at all, I mean, I could go for a Log on the tower. I do have Fireball on cycle if I needed to counter a lot of spells. I also have Phoenix, which does do death damage, which is really good against like minion hordes. Knock it back and then also do some damage to it. He's still not cycling stuff. What is he doing?
One eternity later.
You know what? I'm too impatient for this. I'm cycling the Sparky in the back. Definitely not the right play. Oh my gosh. Mordekaiser.
Welcome to Oblivion.
Really? You're going to go in for the Skeleton King? Yeah, I guess he wants to embrace the meaning of his name. I'm going to go in for a Royal Giant here, and then he's going to have Fisherman, which is not ideal because obviously the Fisher Boy goes and pulls our stuff. Wait, good Fireball value. We should be able to knock everything away. Let's go. That was clean. That was quite clean. So if you didn't know, you can drop your Goblin Gang after the Fisherman locks onto the tower, and then the Fisherman will end up hitting the Goblins instead of the tower. Notice how the tower did not get touched by his Fisherman even once. Finished off one Goblin instead. So we're definitely playing against a Royal Giant deck. That is very familiar to me, to see the Skeleton King and Skeleton from the Tombstone. So the funny thing is, the Spear Goblins gave us 700 damage to the left-hand side. I totally never expect Spear Goblins to put in that much work, but after the buff, like Spear Goblins, Goblin Hut, anything that encapsulates Spear Goblins is overpowered at this point. So I want to go in for a Sparky here. We'll see what happens. Maybe we could go in Torch's Witch with our Log and then our Zap, depending on what happens. But yeah, if you guys didn't know, Inferno Tower is one of the most clutch things against Royal Giant. +1 elixir trade, and then also on top of that, it stays on the field. And the guy's like, wait, why do you have Inferno Tower with Sparky? I copied it from a top 200 player, all right? It's actually pretty good. We're going to go in for a Royal Giant when we can in the right-hand side so we can split up our opponent's stuff. And then it's going to be way more tough for him to defend because if he goes in for Zappies, we just Fireball on them, right? And that's exactly what he does. And then we log on top of the Spear. Yeah, he's not even going to go in for any Spear Goblins. I was like, wait, where's the Spear Goblin hut? And then I remembered that it's just a Tombstone. I was like, we're fine. There's no Spear Goblin hut anymore. Let's get it. So we can go for our own Spear Goblin army with our Goblin Gang. And the best thing is, the Mother Witch is targeting on top of the Phoenix instead. And I think we can Zap to finish everything off. Yo, that was so clean. I think the Mother Witch dies. Let's go. That's what we're looking for. And I'm going to Royal Giant on the right-hand side. And you can kind of just chuck spells at your opponent when they've got bait cards. So if they've got like a Tombstone, you log it. If they go in for a Zappies, you Fireball it. And then the Royal Giant breaks through and it locks onto the tower. This is the true strength of the deck. Your opponent relies on any sort of bait card to defend, that will be their end. And then obviously your spells will be your friend. We're going to go in for an Inferno Tower here, and then I can go for a Goblin Gang after just to make sure that we clean up all this stuff. Don't necessarily really care that much about the Fisherman. It's going to lock on the Inferno Tower. That's just going to die. And then we'll conserve our elixir so then we can go for a Log and a Fireball on top of the Zappies and also his Tombstone any second. So always wanting to do this. It's just a bit safer. He's likely going to go in for his Zappies. If he doesn't, then I'll just Fireball on the Mother Witch. Oh my gosh! Dude, this is just popping off. Royal Giant is so broken when they don't have any good defense. Because the spells remove their defenses, you remove them from the game real quick. But even if Mord gets removed from the game, he'll have an awesome afterlife with the Skeleton King ability. All right, we got a game against Eason. He finished 821 in the world, so let's see if it's going to be easy here. If only we could have it as like easy on. Let's go on the tower easily. He's not going to let me have that happen, though. I think most people that finish at the top of the world are really refined with their decisions. Oh, yeah, about that. He ended up dropping a Skeleton Army right into our Log as we cycled it. So I think I found one of the best opportunities ever to cycle that thing. Oh, man. I want a Royal Giant so bad right now. I don't want to cycle it in the left-hand side because he probably ends up having a Graveyard deck. Giant Graveyard is really, really common when you see Skeleton Army and Giant. So I think I Inferno Tower here. I think that's going to be our best bet. If we shut down the Giant and I go for a zap on top of the minions and also the Dark Prince, we should be stellar on defense. Let's go, baby. That was clean. And we got some Royal Giant damage on the right-hand side, too. Inferno Tower is one of the best defensive buildings in the game. I feel like it's just super underrated. Shuts down Hog Rider Earthquake. Also stays alive really long, too. Man, I hate that card. Is there anyone in this game that looks at an Archer Queen cycle to the back and they're like, yes, my favorite thing? I guess if you're running Rocket or Lightning, but for me, it's just not a vibe, you know? It's not something I enjoy. I'm not an Archer Queen enjoyer. In fact, I'm going to have to fireball that thing back. I think it's still going to get a lot of damage on my tower, but I can't do anything about it, guys. I gotta give him the sarcastic well played from the Archer Queen ability. No, seriously, he did it correctly. That was a really well-timed Archer Queen ability, knowing that he wanted to drop it a little bit later so then if the fireball came down and he immediately went in for arrows, everything about that was smart on his end. So credit where credit is due. As long as the Dark Prince doesn't charge on me, then I'm okay with this. I think it's gonna die. We're vibing. So we dropped our Inferno Tower really, really low. There's a high chance that he goes in for a Giant, and I've got Sparky to say hello to that Giant. So should be a fun game for us if he decides to play too aggressive here. Lots of times they do that. Let's go, baby! He listened to me! Oh, that's not something I wanted to see. I think I have to fireball on those. Yeah, almost certainly have to fireball on those. I was living in a dream world where the Sparky shot on top of the minions because there was a little bit of electricity and it covered it. So I was like, oh, it definitely shot on everything that we wanted, and it didn't at all. So it is what it is, but that's unfortunate. All right, so the Archer Queen's going to go lock onto the Royal Giant. We can go in for a Phoenix here and then immediately zap. I want to make sure that the Royal Giant's going to stay alive just long enough so we can finish off the Dark Prince so I don't have to spend any extra elixir on that, ideally. Please? I don't want to. Okay, thank goodness. All right, I think we have to go for a Sparky here to stop the Giant before it gets any meaningful amount of damage. And we can fireball again on the minions if we need to. Easy log value. I don't know why he's giving that to me. Yo, he's giving me great value out here. I think I should have fireball on top of the Archer Queen. I really regret my decisions. I don't think that life choice was the best one, guys. We go Goblin getting off to the side. He's going to snowball. He does miss some of the Spear Goblins because we dropped it slightly postured off to the left. That was the right decision for sure. We're going to go and drop our Sparky here, and then I think I'm going to go for a zap on top of the Dark Prince so it dies to the Sparky charge. All right, so interesting to always see him go Skeleton Army. Like, I don't know why he wants to drop the Skeleton Army to force out a negative trade for himself every time. Wait, is he able to stop this? I wonder. We can fireball on the minions this time, and the Dark Prince will definitely die to the Sparky. Yes! Yes! I think we're going to electrocute the Archer Queen for once in our lives, maybe? I hope. I hope he messes it up. Let's go! That's what I'm talking about, baby! That makes me so happy to see that. He can't even go Giant Graveyard since he's down so... Oh, never mind. He's not down enough to not do that. He's a wild child. These Giant Graveyard players build different out here. All right, so we're going to go in for a Sparky, and I think I have to go for a Zap. I don't want to, though, because I really want to zap on top of a Skeleton Army or something. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I should have zapped on the Skeleton Army. I think I would have walked away with a W. I'm still going to Fireball here because I want the Royal Giant to give us one more hit. Please let me beat this top tier. Oh, I was going to say beat the top tier player. I don't think it's going to work. I mean, I could go for a Fireball. I think our best bet is just go in for a Inferno Tower here and then go in for a Log and then just try to melt his skeletons as quickly as we can and then Fireball Zap. I think Fireball Zap does barely do enough. I think Fireball does 274, so his tower's going to be at 1 HP. We follow through with the Zap to put him out of his misery. GG and well played. We did end up stomping the top tier player, and even though we finished number 800 in the world, this menace of the Royal Giant Sparky deck really wrecked him. And that win barely puts us over the edge to be 9,996 in the world. That's a lot of nines, and then also a 9 flipped backwards. All right, we got a game against the Butterfly Clan. Let's see if this guy's going to be pouncing through with a P.E.K.K.A. Generally with this deck, oh man, I hate that card. Like, seriously. There's one card that would make me rage in Clash Royale, be that thing. You look at it and you're like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of Spear Goblins. Not the way that we want to play, bro. We're going to go in for a Fireball here to eviscerate that Mother Witch so he doesn't steal my Spear Goblins. And I think what we do in this type of matchup is we want to go in for a Log on top of the Goblin Hut. So I want to Log on the Goblin Hut because the Spear Goblins that flow through it will all die as well. Unfortunately, this guy also has Mini P.E.K.K.A. and Cannon Cart. Yeah, I'm going to take a lot of damage here. The Mini P.E.K.K.A. will lock onto my tower, and so will the Cannon Cart most likely. There's not much I can do about it, right? I kind of just got to go Goblin Gang to push it off. And then afterwards, we will be able to minimize the amount of damage that he gets with the Cannon Cart. But looking at the matchup, I'm slightly scared. Like Goblin Hut and a lot of high damage cards doesn't bode so well for someone that's running Royal Giant and Sparky. So we'll see what we can make happen. I don't want to Fireball in this, just dropping a Zap, but dropping the Zap when it's in range of my tower. So then when it's about to hit my tower, reset it. But if you Zap like before it crosses the river, that's less time that it's stunned while it's in range of your tower. So you want your tower to be able to focus that thing down. All right, remember you dropped mini P.E.K.K.A last time. I think our best bet, drop a Sparky in the back and pray that he doesn't have a random rocket or lightning. When they do that, that's when you're just like, okay, I can't win this match. You go to the next one. So the way that we like this matchup is if he's got Fireball or Poison, as you guys saw, we can go for a log here as well. Most people will not be running Rocket though. So that's one of the reasons why this Sparky deck has stayed at the top of the ladder, because no one runs Rocket after the horrible nerf to it. It's like such a bad card. Oh, double spawners. Yeah, it's going to be kind of tough for us, but we can still make it work if we go in for a Goblin Gang right now, and then the Royal Giant tanks, and then we can kill the mini P.E.K.K.A, and then the Spear Goblins are still going to force out extra elixir. Like, look at how that worked. Despite our opponent having double buildings, because the Goblins and the Spear Goblins do so much damage, if your opponent's trying to damage down the Royal Giant, they're going to get wrecked by your influx of Spears and all of your bait cards afterward. So, I think I want a Fireball here, and then I will be able to get enough damage to log it through, and then finish it all off that way. This is a bit risky, but I think it's the best way to play. I'm just going to log, and then I think I can go for another Royal Giant at the river, just to make sure that we're always keeping him on defense right now. He's going to drop another Barb Hut, and that means that there's going to be less time for him to go in for an aggressive play, like maybe randomly Mega Knighting me. Double spawner players, so dirty, so dirty. All right, so the good thing about this is I can wait the last possible seconds, then drop our Goblin Gang. And the reason why I did that is obvious, right? Like, we don't want to get finessed by a zap, or an arrows, or a poison. And now we can finally Fireball him out. This is what we love to see. I think that the Phoenix is going to keep it within vicinity. Let's go! That was a cash money shot. Being able to shut that down, and then also being able to eviscerate the Fly Machine, making sure he didn't have any spontaneous counter push for the last couple seconds, allows us to win easily. So double buildings, and also a mini P.E.K.K.A. We were able to crush a double spawner deck without too many worries, even though, you know, I was a little bit tilted at the start when I saw the Spear Goblin Hut. As long as you play well, you'll bounce back. Let me know down below in the comment section, is there a card in Clash Royale that tilts you or you just hate playing against? For me, it's gotta be Goblin Hut in this meta. The amount of damage that Spear Goblins do when they're stacked up and their range after the buff is absolutely absurd in my opinion. I think there's no doubt that they're gonna nerf it soon. And after destroying double spawners, we're 8,400 in the world. All right, let's go. We got a game against the Assassin. So he's got bats in his banner. If he's gonna have a fast, spontaneous cycle deck, well, guess what? We've got Zap for your bats. And we've got Log for all your goblins. So he's not gonna be cycling anything at the start. I kind of am reluctant to cycle cards too, because usually you have a pair of small spells and you can cycle one and feel good about yourself. But since I don't, I can't really cycle my Log, because if he goes in for bait cards, I need to have some answer. Instead, I elected to go and split my Spear Goblins, and it's okay. I mean, it's decent. He has Zap, but he cycled it on my tower, I believe. So maybe I could go for a Sparky and take advantage of the situation. Oh, you know what? Not terrible. We will be able to pull his Dark Prince with our Royal Giant directly into our Sparky, and then build a huge push. So I like doing this typically with Goblin Giant or Giant, whatever version of Sparky I'm running. But with Royal Giant, it works well too. Oh no, I think the Royal Giant is going to get right next to the Sparky. So then his Sparky's going to shoot first. No, is my Sparky going to hit though? He's going to have Electro Wizard, my mortal enemy. No, this is going to be such a tough match. The dude's going to have Electro Wizard and Zap, and he's running Sparky versus Sparky. Okay, I mean, I can win this if I play this super well, but I have to play my best Clash Royale right now if I have any hope of winning, guys. No mediocre out here. No mediocre. We're going to have to go in for a Zap, and then we're going to go in for probably nothing else. I think the Inferno Tower might be able to shut it down with only one Sparky shot. So it's not the end of the world. I want to make sure that I have enough elixir here. I could have also logged as well. I think it would have given me the same outcome, and I would have been able to conserve my Zap for his next Sparky. Man, I don't love this situation at all. If I go Goblin Gang, he might go Dark Prince, and then I could log it. I think that's probably what's going to happen. No, he's going to rage. Negative trade. Not what we were looking for, guys, at all. Yikes. All right, we can log on the Dark Prince, so then it definitely dies. He could also zap on me, though, so I'm slightly scared. Don't zap this. Just don't zap the Sparky. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You won't. Oh, let's go. Okay, so we can go Royal Giant on the other side, potentially. I think that's probably our best outcome right now. I'll try to divvy up our elixir. We can Fireball and Zap on top of Electro Wizard to finish it off and reset his Sparky, so that's always a vibe. Royal Giant is coming through and doing a lot of damage. Okay. Yo, if I'm able to defend this with the Goblin Gang, we are going to have blue skies ahead. I don't know if it's going to happen or if we're going to be dead. I'm going to go for a log, and then maybe... Oh, no, it's going to get shots. But the Royal Giant took out his tower, right? Okay. All right, Royal Giant. How about your brother finishes the job in the other side? Yo, I hope that the other Royal Giant just 3 crowns because he deserves it. he's gotten all the glory of this game. Look at all the damage he's done. I don't know how much it is, but it's probably a lot. Okay, so that's the importance of counter pushing in the other side. If your opponent's like spamming too much elixir and you can't stop it, and you're like, yeah, if I'm losing the battle in this direction, let's go in the other side. That's what I like to do. We're going to zap here, and we're going to fireball and try to knock back his E-barbs, and then we're going to log afterward. No, I'm going to go Goblin Gang. Ooh, he tried to make a prediction. That almost finessed me. Oh, you know the cool thing? When your Sparky's counter pushing left-hand side, even though you don't want to go towards the King Tower, it will end up working out in your favor, because then the Sparky's going to help out whatever they try to defend your Royal Giant with. Oh, he's going to have Electro Wizard. Oh, the Spear Goblins! Oh, they're so broken! I was talking about this earlier with the Goblin Hut. I can't believe they dealt 1,000 damage by themselves in split seconds. That is so unfair. But after beating the overpowered Goblin Hut, I feel like we deserved some overpowered cards on our team too. In this game, the Spear Goblins were the real assassins. Our supercharged win streak got us all the way up to 7,300 in the world. It's time to keep up the streak. This guy's a part of the Royal Flush clan, and we're gonna go flush his towers down the toilet. So he's going to go in for a Royal Ghost. Wow, he's really a part of the Royal... Oh my gosh. I was going to say, he's a part of the Royal family. And now he's going Royal Giant. So much royalty. Please don't zap on my Sparky because it wants to zap you. It wants to shock you, sir. So the good thing about this is we can do split lane pressure, or we can go through with our Royal Giant and make sure that he can't go in for a Fisherman to go and yoink my Sparky. So we'll see what he does. Is he dead? Is he already tilted? That's the thing about our deck, you know? We're able to knock your stuff away, and that Sparky made you pay. With her last dying breath, she socked him silly. That's so cool. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's so much fun to play a deck that people aren't ready for. You guys saw him say, wow. He's like, what the heck? Why do you have Royal Giant log with Sparky? Never seen anything like this before. So you get a lot of wins just based off of the element of surprise. And also, people don't really have a plan to play against this deck. If you ask someone, what do they do against 2.6 Hog Rider? They've played that matchup a million times if they've played Clash Royale for a couple years. They know what they need to do. How many times has someone played against a Sparky Royal Giant deck? I don't even know how many I have. I think like maybe 5, potentially. I don't know. 1 for each year I've played Clash Royale. So this guy is going to go in for an Electric Spirit on defense. Unfortunately, the Sparky is going to get shredded. It's no way. Oh, okay. If it got a shot there, that would have been hilarious. Our strategy can also be like resetting the Fisherman with a zap so the Royal Giant can give us damage. Alternatively, I can play a little bit defensive and prioritize making sure the left-hand tower isn't going to fall. If you're ever like, oh, what am I supposed to do? You can cycle small spells on the tower, or you can go for a Phoenix in the back and feel pretty good about that play. I'm going to Royal Giant in the right-hand lane, and I don't want to Fireball because I want to Fireball on more units. I know that he's not just going to drop like just a measly play of going in for a Hunter. He'll probably pack a little bit more with that. So I'm going to go for a Goblin Gang here, and that's a lot of damage. Nice stuff. We can go for a Log, and we can go in for a Sparky as well if we need to. You know what? I'm going to go for a Zap. It's able to clean up the Fisherman, and that's all that really matters. The Royal Giant is going to do that much more damage than the Hunter, if any more at all. Man, that's pretty funny that I just like let that happen. I was like, I don't even care. Let's go in for an Inferno Tower. Oh my gosh, the mini Expo deck. Again, look at the Inferno Tower. It's going to protect our Royal Giant. He can't go for a Fisherman. He can't stop the Inferno Tower because he can't go for a Fisherman. That's hilarious. The Fisherman would go and pull itself onto the Inferno Tower away from the Royal Giant. That is a whole... Oh man, that's like memes to the next level. And we're leveling up our power plays with another Sparky, claiming our territory and asserting utter dominance. This deck is just electrifying us with offense in every single facet that I didn't feel would be possible. And also it's supercharging the games to the point that they're just 10 times more fun. When you've got Sparky and Royal Giant and so many aggressive cards that can consistently pressure your opponent, the latter games feel like they go by so fast while you speedily climb up the ranks.
Oh my god. I get it.
Like, subscribe for more daily videos, and have an incredible rest of your day.